Ready to turn on this? Okay, so today we're getting outside of my comfort zone because I watched the movie Fight Club. Rob and I are going to have a really heart-to-heart conversation here because the first rule about Fight Club, well, fasten your seatbelt because we're going to learn and grow together. Hey, by the way, Rob, I didn't tell you. It's time to dance.
Sweet.
Is that how you, there you go. Is that how you dance? All these Broadway musicals that you do?
Yeah. That's how you dance.
Okay, so show me your best moves.
I have this little square, so you know. I mean, yeah. That's
do you do
what
the
I
robot?
got. No.
No.
Although people would say, well, I try and do the robot, but people would say I don't do the robot. So.
Okay, here we go. Time to get centered, get my shell. Whoops.
Place you can always turn to when you need a friend.
My
The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out
go.
to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, let me tell you what the show is about. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening friend, and my viewing friends will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. And I just absolutely am excited today because, first of all, I get to go on spring break. Yes, I do. I get to go on spring break starting, maybe Sunday, Monday, I don't know, but it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. So for those of you who have been listening to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show now for the last year, you know how passionate I am about nutrition. Food is medicine. And so because of that, I have been promoting the documentary Eating You Alive. The documentary Eating You Alive is going to have its nationwide release. I know Rob's just like laughing right now at me because he planted the nationwide. Okay, so Eating You Alive, the documentary Eating You Alive is going to have its national debut. And that is April 5th. April 5th, that is when we're all going to come together. For those of you who have been listening to the show, whether it's for 7 years or you're a new listener, this is an education. This is a way for you to make a choice, an informed choice. If you want to go back to eating the standard American diet, which is very sad, standard American diet has a really good acronym. I'm an acronym queen. So standard American diet, if you want to go back to that, at least you're informed. You know what you're embracing. When you embrace healthy eating, you embrace health. That's the most important aspect of it. But what is it that you're giving up? Many people think they're giving up, those comfort foods. Well, you're giving up disease. So it all depends on how you look at it. And when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So not only am I inviting you to this event, I am challenging you to create events all over, because I know that the show is heard all over the world. The show is going to be released in other parts of the world some other time, but now we take care of our own. This is a nationwide release. And for those of you who want to learn more about it, you can go to eatingyoualive.com, or if you want to get your tickets, please get your tickets ahead of time. And the reason why is that if in your area there's not enough people buying tickets, they will cancel the broadcast. So here's the thing. Go to fathomevents.com. fathomevents.com. And pre-order your tickets, or, hopefully if you don't want to pay for the tickets, plan an event. Get somebody there that is a whole food plant-based doctor. Get somebody there that's maybe a vegan, that's been a vegan for a long time, that makes a living out of doing this. So I want to challenge you to think outside the box, create an event. I'm creating 2 events, one in Jacksonville with a Jack's vegan couple, and one in Brevard with Kim Smith. She is the owner of Alive and Healthy. And so we're finalizing the event in Brevard County, but we will, keep an eye on my Facebook page at Lillian's Radio Show. Lillian's Radio Show is my Facebook, but we also have a private group, because the people in my private group get all my information. That is the Lillian McDermott Radio Show. That's our private group, and you get to see everything that we do. So go there to learn more, but on April 5th, that's when the nationwide release is at 7 o'clock. The event that we're planning before the 7 o'clock release, nationwide release, is at, we're going to go to Pho Today, and it's Pho, for if you pronounce it Pho Today, and it's near Tinseltown. That's the theater at 7 o'clock that we'll be at. You need to call me or text me if you plan on being this. Even if you've told me you're going to be there, today's the day. If you can please let me know so we can give a head count. That's 407-373-5959. I would love to meet you. I'm going to be in Jacksonville. I'm creating the same kind of event in Brevard County. So the only theater in Brevard County that's showing this Eating You Alive is the Merritt Island Mall. So I want to encourage all of you, educate yourself. You will spend mindless hours watching movies, watching TV that is mindless. It doesn't teach you anything. It just pollutes your brain with information that doesn't matter. Do something for yourself. Go to fathomevents.com, pre-order your tickets, go to Eating You Alive, or go to my website or my Facebook page, and you will get information on where it is that you need to go. So I'm challenging you now, learn a new truth about nutrition. When we returned, we're going to talk about the lessons about Fight Club. What is the first rule about Fight Club? I know you want to say it out loud.
You don't talk about Fight Club.
You don't talk about, we're going to talk with Rob Landers. He's a local actor, and also he loves the movie Fight Club. And we're going to continue our conversation with Rob Landers, or we're going to bring Rob Landers, and I'm going to introduce you to him when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay, so you see, you didn't hear the music, right?
I did.
Oh, you did hear the music?
Oh, I did hear the music.
Oh,
yeah.
on the way out? Oh, I didn't hear it.
No, not on the way out. On the way in, though. I heard,
so you saw the music started, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for those of you, you're going to be meeting Rob Landers. He's been so patient, and I need to make this announcement again later on. But we're ready to take on moving. I'm taking off my hat, and I'm going to fight with you, Rob. I'm going to fight with you.
I love this movie. I do. I love this movie. And I love that the whole conversation started about this movie. And the whole reason why we're doing this is because you were in the studio at Florida Today and said that you did not like the movie. And I was like, what?
Well,
what?
Not only that, Rob, not only that. You said I got it all wrong.
You did.
Got it all wrong. And so
you did. It's not a movie about graphic violence and
oh, it isn't.
It is.
Sorry, I misunderstood all the fighting and all the blood gushing out there.
Well, there's not a lot of blood gushing, but there's.
Oh my gosh! When was the last time you saw Fight Club?
It hasn't been that long. But I'm kind of numb to that at this point. Like it's because I see all the messages in the movie now, so that's why.
Yes, because you're so highly evolved.
No, it's not that I'm highly evolved. It's just,
But it must be. It must be, because I looked at this movie again yesterday, and I had to pause. It's like 139 minutes. I had to look it up. How much time did I spend looking at this movie again? Anyway, we need to have this conversation on the air, because I know I'm going to repeat myself, and I don't want to repeat myself to my loyal YouTube vid watchers. And I just love all the positive comments that I've been getting. And you know what? The ones that are negative too, that's fine as well. Of course, we love the positive because we want to, be there for everybody. I got to take both with a grain of salt. But Rob, I'm really excited that we finally get to have this conversation. You're a busy guy.
Yeah.
Do you have an agent?
No. I could probably use some, like, a personal assistant. Can I borrow Ashley? Can
well,
Ashley
you know
come
what?
in?
Isn't she wonderful?
She
Okay, here we
is.
go. Here we go. We're ready to fight?
Yeah, bring it.
I'll be right here waiting for
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her voicemail at
Oh, it's gonna be fun. I have no clue what's gonna
407-373-5959. Once
Me
again,
either. This is yeah.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn one another. I just mentioned to you about Eating You Alive and April 5th, but we're going to switch gears. Are you ready for a fight? Are you ready for a fight?
Bring
Let
it,
me tell
Lillian.
you. Yes, I don't know. Have you ever seen the movie Fight Club? What's the first rule about Fight Club? And I know you're driving and you're saying the first rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. But I'm telling you right now, the first rule about the Lillian McDermott Radio Show is you tell everybody about the Lillian McDermott Radio Show. Anyway, this conversation, the reason why we're having this show today, and I have no clue where it's going to lead us, but I have Rob Landers. He's not only an actor. Well, he was not in the movie Fight Club, but he loves Fight Club. And so while I was talking to Tim Walters of Florida Today, we were recording, I had mentioned how we are unconscious, and I thought I got the movie Fight Club, but apparently I did not, because Rob came out of his booth where he directs everything. He's the director of broadcasting for Florida Today. And he goes, well, you got it all wrong, sister. And so that's what started. And I'm just going to introduce you to Rob Landers, because it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge. And I'm so grateful that Rob is here to do just that. Welcome to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show. Rob, this is your first
Good
time.
Morning. Thank you for having me on.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and I've been seeing you and secretly admiring you and all the things that you do for the community. But share a little bit about yourself and what gives you the passion.
Okay, the passion for Fight Club. Okay, so what gives you the passion for a movie that's 19 years old? Okay, so I've lived in Brevard County for almost a quarter of a century now. Have been working at Florida Today in multiple capacities for the past 21 years, and have been involved in community theater here on the Space Coast since 2005.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
You just played a role in Mamma Mia.
I did.
That changed your life, right?
Yeah, it was the first time I saw Mamma Mia was on tour in Orlando, and as soon as I saw it, I completely recognized it was a show I wanted to do. And when Titusville Playhouse said that they were adding it to their season this year, I immediately, as soon as I could, went and put my hat in the ring and said, yes, I want to be a part of this.
And I'm looking forward to see. I have not seen you on stage yet, but so the conversation, Tim and I do a television show on WEFS TV.
Correct. Wait, we do. You and Tim do a segment on the Florida Today Show once a month, and it airs right around the time your column comes out in the newspaper. Sometimes it airs more than that, because I like to repeat Lillian, because she has really good information and she takes up a lot of time. So it's always good to have a Lillian McDermott and an extra Lillian McDermott, in your back pocket when you need to,
when you need a
finish
friend,
a half-hour show, right?
That's
when
right.
you need a friend and when you need to fill a show.
Need to fill a show. I am there waiting for you, right here, waiting for you. Okay, so I was talking to Tim about, how sometimes we can go through life creating and we don't even know. And I had mentioned Fight Club. I said, when I was becoming a life coach, my coach for becoming a life, well, actually, it was when I was going through the program, not as a life coach, but when I was going through for me. This was a gift that I gave for me. And I was so rebellious. I didn't want to do what I was told to do. And the whole thing was, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I wanted to tell everybody about this experience I was having. And he was like, don't talk about the experience. Don't talk about the experience. And that's what he said. Go, for your homework, you've got to watch Fight Club. I was miserable watching this movie. I do not like watching violence. I do not like watching blood gushing out of people's faces and noses and mouth. And it was disgusting. But what I got out of it was that we can go around the world unconscious, creating disaster mayhem. And that's what I got out of it. But you said, oh no, Missy, tell me more about Fight Club.
No, okay. So the whole beauty of Fight Club is that there is beauty created in wiping the slate clean, in starting over. Just from the very beginning, the first rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. Okay, so if you're going through something, since we're talking about the lessons of Fight Club,
yeah,
if you're going through something, don't air it. Don't air it. Don't put it all out on Facebook. Don't. The first rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah.
So
is the second rule about Fight Club.
Right. Because you don't want to put that negative energy out into the universe.
Oh, I got you there. That's great. I love that.
You know what I mean? That is the first rule of Fight Club. You don't want to put that negative energy out into the universe, because when you put negative energy out into the universe, what do you get back? Negative energy.
Exactly.
And when you share negative energy like that, you are then surrounding your people with people who, embrace negative energy. Then you're surrounded by negative people.
That's right.
So that's why you don't talk about Fight Club. That's why the first rule is you don't talk about Fight Club. You never let people know what you're doing and what your plan is and what your path is, because you don't want anybody turning you away from that path. You don't want anybody, kind of oppressing you and telling you, well, that's not going to work. Well, how do you know it's not going to work?
Correct.
I'm not going to tell you about this now, because I don't want you to give me your negative feedback and tell me I can't do something and I can't achieve the goal that I set out to achieve. That's why the first rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club, because you don't want anybody telling you that's not going to work.
Okay, so the second rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club.
Right.
And so
driving the point home, because you don't want that negative energy.
But how about, because when we think about negative, we promote more negative. And so even Louise Hay, when I said, oh, I can't wait for, Louise Hay said to me, you look forward to it, my dear. And I'm like, pardon me? You look forward to it, my dear. Even don't, and, because the brain does not register don't or do or negative or positive, fact or fiction. Whatever it is absorbing is whatever the action is. So don't talk about Fight Club makes me want to talk about Fight Club. And there was a scene in the movie where it says, well, it looks like by the size and the amount of people that are coming back, you guys are violating the rule about Fight Club. So you've been talking about Fight Club. And that's what we do. And I'm glad that you pointed that out, because when you change the way you look at things, and maybe by the end of the show, maybe I will be a lover of the movie Fight Club. But I think we don't have to watch Fight Club to know that when you talk and when you speak of positive things. But here we go. We need to have someone to process with. We need to have that safe place where we can go to, that we know that no matter what we say, we will be encouraged. Sometimes we do need to hear that perhaps maybe there's a different angle, and maybe be prepared for a different angle. What do you think about that?
I agree. I agree. And
Mr. Rob
I think
Rantlanders.
that's where the character Marla Singer comes into the movie, is because, the movie's 19 years old. So if I'm giving spoilers away at this point, I'm really sorry, but it's a 19-year-old movie. So you have Edward Norton, who is never ever classified, not even in the credits, as being the character Tyler Durden, even though by the end we know that Brad Pitt and Edward Norton are the same character.
Yeah, so I thought the girl was the same character too.
But she's not. Okay, so here's the thing. You have this character who has so much anxiety because of the job he has, that he has horrible insomnia. And he's been diagnosed with, I think it's dissociative identity disorder. Mm-hmm. Okay. He doesn't know that, but that's the actual mental condition that he has. Yeah. And so he's so disenchanted with his life that he is going and he's crashing support groups for
testicular cancer,
and different support groups for people who are actually dying.
Yes.
And in getting his emotions out in those things and seeing people who are in a worse place than he actually is able to sleep at night until until we introduce the character of Marla Singer. Marla Singer introduces to our friend Tyler Durden, Edward Norton at that point, that what life could be. It could be a little bit on the edge. It could be a little bit more racy. It could have a significant other in that life, because he sees her and is like, wow, even though he's repulsed, he's attracted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he's learned all of these coping mechanisms, and this woman comes into his life and completely takes away all of his coping mechanisms. Because maybe those coping mechanisms aren't really living. Maybe there's so many of us that are going through life just putting patches on things that we're not really getting to the heart of the problem. And this woman comes in and kind of rattles his cage and it throws off all of his coping mechanisms. So now he can't cope anymore. And so he creates a split personality. He creates this hero in his mind, his alter ego, who is very confident and doesn't take anything from anybody, and can walk into a room and every woman wants him and every guy wants to be him. And that becomes his best friend. And so, I'll let you.
So what he first meets this woman in a testicular cancer support group.
Right. Why is she there?
He knows,
right?
He knows she's an imposter because there's no reason for her to be there. And so isn't that true? Don't we pick up that in people? Don't we know when there is an imposter, when something doesn't add up? We know that. So, okay, I can see that these characters in his life are the same characters that we have in our life. But when you look at the third rule about Fight Club. Do you remember the third rule about Fight Club?
That's if someone taps out, goes limp, the fight's over.
Yeah, you are good. Somebody yells stop, goes limp, taps out, or the fight is over. But you know what? That's when sometimes when we are fighting with one another, that's when we really want to attack even more. And yelling stop and saying stop, isn't that like a safety word that we should all have for ourselves? Is stop, regroup. But there was no regrouping. It was the same old thing. There was no thinking. And I still maintain that this movie is about unconscious living. I know that there's all these other facets that you brought into my awareness, but unconscious living, he was not even aware that all this destruction, all this violence, he was creating on himself. Have you, Rob, ever been in a situation where you feel, and by the way, for those of you who like the movie Fight Club, or if all, text me 407-373-5959. We are going to see, I want to see, what's your favorite line of the movie? What's your take about Fight Club? 407-373-5959. What was that you were saying, Rob?
Oh, and the train was coming through, and I was just going to say, Doug, we might want to stop recording, but we're okay.
Okay, I hear you. Yeah. Okay, so the movie, I am not recommending that you watch this movie. I'm saying this right now. I'm not recommending. It was very hard for me to watch, but I did it. I must really love you, Rob.
Well, okay. So here's what I will tell you: is that art. Because I'm a theater guy, so art is art, and what is art to me may not be art to you. And yes, it is about people who kind of go through life completely asleep and unconscious, but it's also about waking up.
Yes, I did catch that this time. And we're going to continue our conversation worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Yes. I noticed the moment he woke up. That is so important. So, okay, let's see, off the air. If someone yells stop, goes limp, taps out, fight's over.
Right.
Only 2 guys to a fight, 1 fight at a time, no shirt, no shoes. Fight will go on as long as they have to. I don't get how that translates, but isn't that what we do?
It is.
Fight to the bitter end until we're right and we win. And the last one is, if this is your first night at Fight Club,
you must fight.
You must fight.
This is our first fight at Fight Club for everyone. This is
This-
it. Everyone,
our Fight Club.
this is life is Fight Club. Fight Club is your life. So yes, it is your first shot at Fight Club. So yes, you should be fighting for the best life you can live. Yes.
I like that. You know what? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Correct.
I remember when I was a kid, I used to love Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. And my mom would go, Lily, I don't want to see it because they cuss too much. I said, I go, just ignore the cussing. But he's funny. The meaning, listen to his stories, mommy. And she'd go, no.
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
I know. You want to fight about it?
That's what we're doing.
Hey, Brian, have you seen the movie Fight Club? Because he's a millennial. He's like 23. Brian, are you there?
I'm 24 and I saw it.
What did you think?
I liked it.
Why did you like
Good
it?
answer, Brian.
Thank you.
Why did you like it, Brian?
I don't know. It's just a really good movie, and all the actors are really good in it.
Well, can you go a little deeper than that?
Not really.
No. So you love fighting. See, I cannot stand fighting as a sport. And I think that's where, but you know what? It's about winning. It's like winning or losing. It's not about words or hysterical shouting upon tongues like Pentecostal church. When the fight was over, nothing was solved. Nothing mattered. Nothing afterwards. We all felt saved. Nothing changed, but they all felt saved. What is it about a fight?
You let the aggression out.
You think?
You take it's like a pressure cooker, and you let the pressure out of the pressure cooker. Like it's like the release valve.
But can there be other ways to release that tension? Like meditation. Can you imagine meditation club?
Well, okay, so I think the thing about Fight Club though is that it reminds us that there are very primal aspects to us still as humans, and that society has raised men to kind of squash those instincts, and so that's in Ed Norton's head, in Tyler Durden's head. That's where all of this is stemming from, is that he has been, it's the whole snowflake mentality. Everybody gets a trophy kind of mentality of kind of, you can't do that. That's not correct. Don't be that way. Don't be so aggressive. You can't do that. And so he creates this alter ego that's like, forget that. Forget what society's telling you. We're going to do this anyway.
Okay, so what about this line? Working jobs we hate to buy crap that we don't need and start a fight we will lose.
Correct. That we spend our entire lives working for things that we don't need.
There is a lot of wealth.
If you think about it this way, Lillian, how much time do you spend? Okay, so I know it's different for you because you're actually in your house, but think about, all right, so somebody like me who loves his house and is paying, a mortgage for his house, but I spend 8 to 10 hours a day at work to afford the house that I just want to be in all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, so if you think about it that way,
no, I love
constantly fighting.
I think having this conversation without watching the movie, I would have been right here with you. Just like, but let's try to watch the movie again.
407-373-5959.
You're making me happy about it.
Once again.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where you can hear us worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. I am your host, Lillian McDermott, and it is my goal that we learn something from each other, learn something new. Whoever is your teacher, Rob Landers has been my teacher. Every time I go into the Florida Today to do one of the shows, Rob is there, all excited about being able to release your energy in acting and having that fairy tale world that you can actually be somebody else. And so we've been talking off the air. For those of you who want to go to whenyouneedafriend.com, if you become a subscriber, the show gets sent to you on your tablets or your smartphones. And if you when you go onto whenyouneedafriend.com, subscribe to my YouTube channel because there are on and off the air conversations that you may not hear otherwise. So this is just like an added bonus, like on a DVD. So I encourage you to subscribe there, and that gets sent to you, and so to your phone or tablet. There's also my social media. I'd love for you to like. There are podcasts. There's so much to be connected. This is where we have this conversation of life. This is where, we work towards that life that we want to live, not the life that we think that people want us to live. And so go to whenyouneedafriend.com, and while you're there, please become a subscriber, because when you become a subscriber, go check out my sponsors. I'm all discombobulated with Fight Club here. Go to my sponsors and support them the way that they're supporting the show. I would love to hear your take on the movie Fight Club. What was your take? What was your favorite part of the movie Fight Club? 407-373-5959. We have Rob Landers. He's the director of broadcasting for Florida Today. He is someone that I have really loved. Every time I go to Florida Today, I get to spend some time with Rob, and we have the most deep conversations. Rob, you are such a deep person. And, I kind of feel a little shallow watching Fight Club, because I was like, I couldn't get past the violence. I couldn't get past that. I don't know what it is. And I just wanted to punch somebody after I was done.
Well, okay. So, but Lillian, I mean, okay. So
and that's the thing that person.
but that's the thing that I think that really kind of struck me when you said that you just it was just hard for you to watch, is that in your role as a life coach,
yes,
you teach people every day. You have to look past the bad,
yes,
to see the good in life. You have to see past the bad. And if you're able to see past the bad in Fight Club, there is so much good information in that movie
honestly,
about living.
Yes, we're talking about it now, Rob. But, I love your take on it. But at the same time, when I'm coaching somebody, I stay outside. I'm the observer. When I was watching Fight Club last night, I was trying to go deeper. And I can go deeper with somebody as a coach without, I have to do things for myself to release that out, because energy like that can become part of us. So if you're surrounded by people who are angry, who are bitter, that energy could rub off if you are unaware. So we have to protect ourselves in many ways. And how I protect myself is I don't watch the news. I don't I stay away from people that are really negative, that aren't open to grow. And it's not that I have them in doses that I can swallow and spit out, And so I see you nodding your head. So does that resonate with you?
Yes, absolutely. What I will tell you specifically with Fight Club, however, is that it's not real. So that's how you can. That's how I get through the violent aspects of it. Is it's not real. You're watching these people portray characters. So I know that the fights aren't real. I know that happens, but I'm not watching something that's real when I'm watching this movie. So I absolutely agree that negative people will absolutely spur negativity and bring you down and kind of keep you mired. So you kind of have to remove yourself from this situation.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I know it's not real, but my brain doesn't. My brain, when I'm seeing something, my brain is responding as if, and my body is responding as if, because the signal is sent from the brain is sent to the body, or the message is sent to the body, and then my body is feeling that fight. Whenever we watch, okay, I'll give you an example, because we are magnetic, we emit energy. We're all a frequency. And I'll give you an example. When you do a random act of kindness, or when you are doing a random act of kindness, the person that is the receiver of this kindness feels so your love and that what you did. The people that give that, if I give it and I'm the one, I feel their joy. And here's the thing, the people that are experiencing and watching as an observer also feel that joy. That's that frequency that we're emitting. Now, let's take it and flip it to the shadow side. When you view violence, you feel that violence. And so I had to really take breaks and stop. And, an hour, 139 minutes of my life got extended because I had to keep pausing. I'd say to my husband, and thank God he watched it with me, because, he was there as well. So he would pause it, and then I would write, certain things that like bounced off of me that I was like able to, they built an army. This group, this guy, this Edward Norton character that at the beginning of the show had so many names. And I think it's because he didn't know who he was. And
you actually never hear his name.
They
never say his name because he is everyman. He is the everyman of the story. He's like the Greek chorus in theater. He is. It could be any person. It could be the guy sitting next to you in Starbucks who can't relate to the life that he has.
Yeah.
So that's you don't actually hear his name until Marla Singer turns around and he says, "What's my name?" And she was like, "Tyler Durden. It's Tyler Durden." And you realize that they're one and the same at the same time that he realizes that they're one and the same. Now, I love Easter eggs. The new movie, Ready Player One, that's just out today. Okay. I loved the book. That movie is all about Easter eggs, which are these hidden gems and clues that reward you for being a fan or reward you for paying attention. And there are little Easter eggs that are hidden throughout the movie that tell you from the very beginning that they are the same person.
Wow. Okay, so there, and by the way, I know that Easter is this weekend, and
you're welcome for that segue.
Yes, you're. Like I'm telling you, this is totally unscripted, and not that any of my shows are scripted, but this is even more unscripted because I just wrote down some of the things that stuck out. But Easter is this weekend, and I want people to truly step outside and do something different. Be aware, be present. We're going to find ourselves in groups of family, friends, maybe alone. Reach out, ask for what you need, ask for what you want, and try to create the best Easter ever. I mean, it's one of those things that what I saw with the show in this movie, Fight Club, that Rob Landers is the director of broadcasting for Florida Today, but he's also an actor. He didn't act in this movie. You would think, Rob, I don't know. You quote this movie as good as I quote The Jerk with Steve Martin. I love The Jerk. See, those are the kind of movies I gravitate towards.
Right. Well, and I quote this movie, but I can only quote this movie in certain circles because there's some lines in this movie that can't be quoted.
Yes.
But Lillian, when you said you wanted to talk about the lessons of a Fight Club, I really wanted to. One of the things that I started thinking about is. So there's a repeating theme in the movie where Ed Norton's character either does or says, "I wanted to destroy something beautiful." In the very beginning of the movie, he destroys his apartment by blowing out the pilot light and letting the gas run, and then a spark causes the whole thing to explode. Mm-hmm. He beats Jared Leto's character up to the point that he's horribly disfigured. Yeah. He wanted to destroy something beautiful. And his alter ego is fighting him on this. Like they're going back and forth on this. And it's almost like you're in a relation. So think about your relationships and how you have friendships that kind of come to their conclusion. And then somebody does something really stupid and you fight to keep that friendship that really isn't working for either one of you anymore. And the amount of energy that you're expending to fight to keep that friendship going, when really the better thing for both of you would to just be to move on and wipe the slate clean. Mm-hmm. Wipe the slate clean and fighting are the key topics in this movie and like the deeper aspects of it. So just throwing that out there as another life lesson.
No, Rob, I caught that this time. I caught the fact that he wanted to erase the debt because every building that he destroyed had to do with a credit card. And I think that at the beginning of the movie, you see how much he had bought, how much he had purchased because he wanted to have the perfect IKEA home. Right. And so I think I got that, right? It's IKEA, right?
Yes.
And
because everything. Right, the video is actually panning across the apartment and showing
Yes.
you each
All
item with the
amount.
IKEA description.
So he destroyed all the credit card. And you know what? That's a good thing. Being debt free. That's a good thing. And we're going to continue our conversation. We're talking about Fight Club. So what's your favorite part of Fight Club? 407-373-5959. Text me what you like. And 407-373-5959. And we're going to continue our conversation. We'll be right here waiting for you. Oh, you know what? The more I talk about the movie, now I understand why you like it. You have to sit through it to watch it, to kind of like it, you know. And here's the thing. Even Robert said, you know, we picked the wrong time to watch the movie Fight Club because it was right before we went to bed. And I wanted to talk about it. I know. Hey, listen.
Yeah, you can't do that. Well, yeah. Okay, so I have a story for that too. So
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so
you want to say it now or on the air?
Oh, no, I can do it now.
Okay.
Ashley's telling me, you know, like we're going to do the show at 8 a.m. And I'm like, 8 a.m.? I'm like, Ashley, look, I know that Lillian doesn't sleep, but some of us do. Like, I'm not usually awake at 8 a.m. I had to get up and, you know, this doesn't happen. So I just, you know, I had to get up early and make sure this happened.
How early do you have to get to look this natural?
Well, you know, so I got up an hour before the show. So
Nice.
It takes me a half an hour or so to just kind of, you know, get everything put together. So.
I tell you what, you didn't have to wear a lot of makeup to this because this is the thing with men. This is the thing about men. With women, we lips. You know, that's one thing. If you ever find me on the street and I don't have lipstick on, put a chalk line around me because you know I'm dead. I always have lipstick on. I don't care what the situation is. It's like I got that from my mother.
Right.
But here's the thing. We put so much investment in how we look. That's a scene. That kind of struck me. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah. You're not your job. You're not how much money in the bank. You're not the car you drive. You're not the content in your wallet or your khakis. So that is, you know, he was saying these were his lessons. You know, you're not. But what are you? What are you?
Well, and that's the struggle of the movie is because, you know, Edward Norton doesn't know who he is. He doesn't, which is why he created Brad Pitt and created that character.
That was worth watching him alone. Was worth the movie Fight Club.
Well, there you go. Cute. Everybody finds a perk. That was yours. Yeah, but truly, you know, I watched the movie when it came out. And I've watched it many times, but you know, there have been a few jobs at Florida Today that I have not loved. And you know, we all have bosses that we don't necessarily agree with. And so, you know, you have those people that kind of bring you down or make you feel oppressed. And so I'm watching this movie and I hear that line, "You're not your job." And so it really kind of started this path of, well, who are you? And I'm still on that path of self-discovery.
I know.
But
You know,
I mean,
all, though, Rob.
Yeah, yes.
To the moment you take your last breath.
Right. But again, that's Fight Club. Life is Fight Club because you are constantly fighting to find out who you are and better your life.
Yes. But can we just take a few moments and take a breath?
You can count on me. I'll be right here.
Can you believe it? We only have like 10 minutes left.
That's it. That's wow.
You can text Lillian
really quick.
or leave her a voicemail at 407
flies when you have fun.
5959.
It does.
Once again, here's Lillian.
And welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow with one another. And today's teacher, who's helping me embrace the movie Fight Club, is Rob Landers. Before we say anything, I go on, I want to encourage you again. The documentary Eating You Alive, April 5th, nationwide release. Go to fathomevents.com. That's Fathom Events. Get your tickets early because if in your area they don't have enough people interested, then it's they're going to turn it. They're going to not show it. So not only if you create an event like you want to do, there's a 15-minute question and answers. There's going to be one in Jacksonville at Tinseltown. We're going to be there. I'm going to be there with the Jack's Vegan couple. There's also another doctor that's going to be there as well. So make sure that you tune into either at whenyouneedafriend.com for the blog, or go to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show group or Lillian's Radio Show on Facebook and learn more. But we're going to have an event at 5 o'clock. We're also going to have, go to Tinseltown. You can call me or text me, 407-373-5959 to learn more. We're creating an event in Brevard County. And Rob, I hope that you can go to this, because it's a wonderful way to educate yourself. Never, ever, ever have to diet again. Never. You can come to peace with your food, and your food will heal every cell of your body. So please remember to do that on April 5th. And then we have a follow-up support group. It's the Heal. That's called the Heal Tribe. And tune in to learn a little bit more about that. That's going to be a support group for the Lillian McDermott Radio Show. Jack's Vegan couple are also going to be a part of that. And we're going to start one in Brevard County. Now, I love talking to you about Fight Club, because Rob Landers of Florida Today, actor, you appreciate art, and you appreciated this. You took the time to learn a little bit more about this art. Although I got some messages, I still couldn't get past the violence. To me, I understand I can use my tools as a life coach to watch a movie, but I just know that whatever I don't want, it manifests more into my life. So we get from this movie that the Tyler Durden did not know who he was. And at the end of the show, or the end of the movie, 130 minutes in.
139.
I know, but about 139 minutes in, he's awakening, you know?
Right.
So we still have, we looked at we got 9 more minutes.
Right.
We got 15 more minutes.
But those last 9 minutes are so critical, because he does realize who he is.
I could have watched the end of the movie, and that right there is worth, I didn't like the fact and how he killed his ego. I think, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. He killed his ego because that was what was binding him. He was so in love with what people thought of him. And, it's none of your business. If you're a people person or pleaser and you're a yes person, and you're worried and you're fearful of criticism or what people might think about you, here's a tip. It's none of your business what people think of you. You do it anyway. You live your life the way you want to live your life. And the only way this character was able to get rid of his ego was to destroy himself, basically.
Correct.
Destroy
himself, destroy his entire world, destroy everything around him. Quit his job, blew up his apartment. He pushed the people in his life away from him. Marla Singer, who came in, as he says at the very end of the movie, you came into my life at a very weird time.
Yeah.
Very strange time. It is all about those things. But I also want you to think about, because we're talking about the lessons, I want you to think about, the saying, the ends don't justify the means.
Correct.
Right? Okay. But is there a gray area there? So for you and I talking about Fight Club, the ends don't justify the means. You don't think that the violence is necessary to justify telling all of these truths. Mm-hmm. I can see your point with that. I can also see the point of the ends don't justify the means. There is a scene in the movie where Ed Norton and Brad Pitt go into a convenience store. Oh, and there's an Asian clerk working in the convenience store, and they take him behind the convenience store at gunpoint and have him down, and he is just sobbing, and they're asking him, what did you want to do with your life, Raymond?
What are you doing working here?
Right, what are you doing working here? And he was like, what did you want to do with your life? And he was like, I wanted to work with animals. And, well, why did you quit? It was too much school. And they threaten him, and they tell him, if you are not on the path to becoming a veterinarian by the end of in 6 weeks, then I'm going to come and kill you and your entire family. Yeah. And they take his driver's license so they know where he lives. And Raymond runs away, and the whole run, Forrest, run, taking off. And Brad Pitt says that in 6 weeks that man will be on a path to a better life.
Yes.
So
talk about
gray
urgency,
area,
right?
Right. So the gray area, do the ends justify the means in some cases? Because this man's life is now changed through an act that he thought was violent, that we saw because of the gun is violent, but there was no violent intent from the people who were perpetrating it. You know what I mean? There was never an intent to shoot Raymond at that point. It was all an intent to get him to live a better life.
Mm-hmm.
And so is it through fear that we live a better life? Well, fear is a real motivator. I live in fear that, some things, I'm not going to be able to support my child or my family. So, or take care of them.
Well, but if you live in fear of that, you will be focusing your energy on that, and that will come and manifest itself, because that's
Correct.
the energy we send out.
Right.
But
So that concept.
That's what I got from the movie. What do you want?
Right. Right. And what are you willing to do? What is it going to take for you to go after what you want? Yeah.
By the way, I did not know that Meatloaf was a part of that movie. He was Bob.
His name is Robert Paulson. Yeah,
yes,
he is.
His name is Robert Paulson. Okay,
yeah.
So I always quote that song. I would do anything for.
But I won't do that.
But I won't do that. But I won't do that.
But I won't do that.
I won't do that. And so, what do you want? I think that the three takeaways is erase the debt, go back to zero. Clean slate, start over. Isn't that what each second is? And I wrote it. Remember that article that I wrote about starting over, like the New Year celebration, and how we're all like waiting for the year to end, and then we do the countdown, and all of a sudden we're so excited. Happy New Year. And the article that I wrote was about, why can't we do that every second of the day? Every minute of the day. We have a bad day, and we could say, 8, 7, 6, 5, happy new moment. It's like we erase that debt clean. Okay, then the next thing I got out of it was he used responsibility. I'll take 100% responsibility. He created devastation, and now he wanted to wipe the slate clean. And then he was asking himself, what do you want? The alter ego was saying, what do you want, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Right. And I it's so funny that we brought up New Year, because every year people make resolutions.
Yes.
And then they get very discouraged when they're not seeing the results. But the only person that can make the results happen in their New Year's resolutions is themselves. We're the only one that can change our lives. Yes. No one's going to do it for us. And so you live a life that's worth fighting for. That's the whole message. You wanted to talk about lessons. That is the lesson of Fight Club.
Live a life. Fight Club.
Live a life that's worth fighting for. And this is why we broke rules number 1 and 2 today to talk about Fight Club. And
I want to encourage all of you, my listeners, my viewers. The number 1 rule about the Lillian McDermott Radio Show is, Rob Landers,
tell everyone about the Lillian McDermott Show.
That's right. And Rob, I loved this conversation. I loved it when we first talked about it. I'm like, no. Maybe the next time we could talk about The Jerk, because I could quote The Jerk too.
The new phone book is here. They're shooting the cans.
Somebody know. Yeah. Okay. But thank you so much for making this movie come alive. I'm not saying that you should watch the movie, but there are lessons in life that are, life imitates art, or art imitates life, right, Rob?
I would say if I have a final statement to say, it is that whatever art makes you think and makes you to affects your life and makes you feel something, find that art and follow that passion. And
our life is worth fighting for.
It is.
And we don't have to make it as violent as that, but we can figure out what we want so we don't have to fight. We can just go forward. And for those of you who have a desire to learn more, make sure you check out Eating You Alive on April 5th. Remember, I'll be right here waiting for you. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good job, Rob. This was great. I really love this conversation because it was uncomfortable. Sometimes we need to get uncomfortable to get those lessons, go deeper in lessons, life lessons. And I never thought, go ahead.
That is exactly why Fight Club is the movie that you needed to watch, because you needed to be uncomfortable to get those lessons.
Okay, Rob Landers. Okay. You're right.
So.
What's the next movie?
I don't know. We'll talk about another one, though. I have to go back and watch The Jerk.
Oh, I love The Jerk. As a matter of fact, everybody has a movie. What's your favorite movie? Just write it below and subscribe to my YouTube video. Write it below. Subscribe to my whenyouneedafriend.com. Do all that stuff. If you're still, I'm so grateful that people listen to the end, and when they make comments, I love that. Whether they're positive or not, it's, this is the reflection. Isn't it true that everybody that stands in front of you is like a mirror?
Mm-hmm.
Is a mirror.
It is. Yeah.
Because, the Edward Norton character, the Tyler Durden character, that was his real name. He was a handsome man. He was just didn't know how to be a part of life.
But he didn't see himself as a handsome man.
No.
He saw what he wanted to be was Brad Pitt. He wanted to be Brad Pitt. He wanted to have the swagger. He wanted to have the look. He wanted to have the clothes, and wanted to wear it. But the fact is that Brad Pitt was pulling those clothes out of dumpsters. I mean, it's like people who live on the edge.
He was stealing cars.
He was stealing cars. He was stealing fat from plastic surgeries to make soap.
That is. That was just disgusting.
It is disgusting, but
But what lesson do we get them there? That we're stealing our life? What's the lesson of stealing?
I don't think that it's I don't think necessarily that the lesson was that we're stealing. It's making you think about the fact that we spend thousands of dollars to have this excess fat removed from our bodies, and then we spend thousands of dollars to buy fat in a soap. So, I mean, it was that vicious cycle. Like we're such horrible consumers that we just throw our money away on things that we don't really think about what it is.
I got another take on the stealing. It just hit me. How many times do we steal and are totally unaware of it? We steal YouTube. One of the things that's happening right now is people are making copies of this. How many times do we waste our employers' money by taking products, by doing things? It's like cheating,
by using the copy machine.
By using the copy machine for personal reasons. Those are little ways that we steal. I'm getting good at this, huh?
You are getting good. You can see all of those little hidden Easter eggs.
Yes. So the stealing, we rob ourselves of the life we want. Mm-hmm. We steal time. We waste time. There's so many things that we do ourselves, but we're unaware. The bottom line was that he was totally unaware.
Correct.
When he woke up, he tried to correct. He tried to take responsibility. But because he had surrounded himself with so much mayhem and so much like-mindedness,
correct,
even when he tried to take responsibility, he'd affected the whole.
Everything. He infected everything. Right. Okay. So you wanted to talk about what our next movie is going to be?
Yes.
Our next movie to talk about is going to be Collateral Beauty. That's our next movie to talk about. Yes.
Collateral Beauty.
Changed my life.
Really?
Yes. Will Smith. Not violent at all. It's a Will Smith movie. It is very much in the vein of like Love Actually, where there's like different storylines going on all at the same time, but it revolves around Will Smith, and Will Smith's character in this movie has lost a child, and he is trying to come back from this. And it is a movie that you need to watch.
I will. And we got a date. We're gonna.
Yep.
Next time we bring the popcorn.
Okay.
I have some air popped popcorn. So
okay.
Okay,
yeah.
So I want to tell you a story. This is how much and so this was funny to me, but I don't know if it's going to be funny to you or anybody who's watching. But I made a commitment that I was going to watch Fight Club, and when I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it. Right. So yesterday, as I was preparing for the show and getting ready, I went onto Netflix, and they don't even have this movie. Is such a hot. I don't know. People loved the movie. I mean, Brian loved the movie, but he really liked, I don't know, he liked it, but he doesn't really know why he liked it, but he liked it. But I mean, a lot of people like you and I maybe will find a lot of meaning into it. So I went to Netflix, and then I went to I looked at different things. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have a video. I need to get a video. So I called the Cape Canaveral library 10 minutes before 5. I asked if they had Fight Club. They had Fight Club. They were closing in 10 minutes. She said, we're closing in 10 minutes. I said, I'll be right there in 5. So I got there at 5 minutes, and there was a line of people checking out stuff. And so I thought, you know what? I wanted to get the 4th season of Brooklyn 99. Can you tell I love it? So I was looking for, but while the line was like, I'm looking for Brooklyn, like I found the 4th season. I went and I texted my husband, hey, what's that movie that you wanted to watch? You know? And so I go and I stand in line. I get Brooklyn 99, and I'm about to leave, and they say, wait a minute, aren't you the woman that called for Fight Club? And I went, yes. So I had to go back in, and I had forgotten Fight Club. That's how much my body rejects violence. My body is like I was procrastinating watching this.
Okay, so our next movie again is not violent. I'm not. Great. I won't subject you to the violence.
Okay, so the next movie after that, I get to pick. I have to think about what.
Well, we can talk about The Jerk next if you want to. I'm going to have to go back and watch that one. It's been a while. But
do I want that one? I have to think. Okay, we'll decide which one it is. But Collateral Beauty, you have my commitment. I'll get it on. Is it on Netflix or do I?
I don't know if it's on Netflix. It was on HBO earlier. Like in December. So it's been a year. So
maybe everybody who's watching can watch Collateral Beauty. So when we come together to discuss this movie, we'll have a nicer, people can give their opinion about Collateral Beauty. Okay, Rob Landers, I know you got to get to work, and I'm doing some promo work here, but I want to tell you, I am so grateful that we had this conversation. Although it was tough for me, but isn't that true? Sometimes the things that that move us towards growth are really tough. And so we just need to take that step of courage to learn a new truth. And
you're learning all those little subliminal things that are in that movie, aren't you?
I'm ready to take on the day. I'm ready to take on the day and take on a fight. I'm ready.
There you go.
So the first rule about the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, Rob Landers?
Tell everyone about the Lillian McDermott Show.
That's right. Please subscribe. Thank you, Rob, for coming on the show today. Happy Easter. And Happy Easter. All of you, may you have love, peace, joy, and abundance, knowing that the greatest gift of all loves you. And so we're going to continue our conversation next time. I'm taking a break, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for watching.